Hello everyone, Helton Souza here at Capella Bus, and in this episode we're going to talk about the AC shell in the back of the bus. So we removed the original AC from there, and then we are going to put a mini split unit in the back there. So to do that, we had to frame a whole shell, an outer shell, and I decided to build this out of aluminum. And your guys are gonna see there's some amazing laser cut in that aluminum sheet just in this episode. So stay tuned, let's get busy. I wanna pause a little bit here and thank so much Steve Mead from Sacramento here from SMD. So Steve, I just found Steve randomly on like a Google search, and I went there and checked his shop out, and he is an amazing entrepreneur here local in Sacramento, California. And then I told him like, hey, I have this crazy idea. I saw online that you have some laser cutting machines here. Would you be willing to just help me out? And he jumped right in, just like, where's the sheet of aluminum? Let's plan this. He jumped right on CAD, draw some stuff, sent back to me, and you guys are gonna see how amazing this technology is. So Steve, thank you so much for your help. We'll be forever grateful. And check this out. All right, good morning. This is one more day here in the Capella Bus, and I'll be working on this piece for a while now. I think it's like 2 days, maybe 2.5 days. So I've been working on framing this whole thing. I think there will be some details in another video in picture, but basically this whole thing is built out of like an aluminum angle for framing, and then all this sheet metal. That was laser cut by our huge friend Steve here in Sacramento. So shout out Steve. So yeah, I'm getting ready to the other side of this, which is to attach this to the bus itself, to the back of the bus. So this is going to house the mini split external unit. So the big part that's outside of the bus. So I'm using another kind of angle aluminum here. I had to make a little cut to adjust for the space that I have there for the attachment, and also had to like comply with a little bit of the curve. So I made a notch here, and then this is going to be riveted in the back of the bus. I'll show you guys what I mean. What we have here is this is the door. So the back door here, you can see that the water tanks are gonna be there. There will be like a whole aluminum sheet covering this thing in parts, so it's easy to remove for maintenance in the future. The water heater is gonna be here, and the exhaust is gonna be to the back of the bus, and down here there will be all the water components like water pump, the accumulator, and all the things that we need here. I'm trying to get some free space around this whole thing, so maintenance will be very easy. So basically this was a kind of a closed door here, and then I had to make this huge cut to fit that structure that's going here. but basically that rectangle is going to be held by some angle like this. So those are all riveted to the body of this door, and then it's going to hang here and then get more rivets to the inside here. And that little piece that I just showed you guys, this one with the notch, is going to go basically right here. When it gets riveted, it's going to conform to this little curve that I have right here. So as you can tell, this is flat, but this is not flat. So that's basically what I'm working on. For this side, what I'm gonna do is something else, because I need more bones on this side, because I don't have the kind of the luxury of the other side. There's like a square piece of aluminum holding this whole thing together. So I'm gonna frame out this part with 2x2 angle aluminum. So it's going to the inside, is gonna attach to the bottom frame, to the upside is going to attach to that frame, and then it's going to hold that whole infrastructure the same way. It's kind of the same idea of this angle here, but in the flip side, right? So yeah, that's what I'm working on right now. Hopefully I can get this all framed out, and then it's just prep for paint, and then painting that whole infrastructure. I'm gonna try to match this color here, and then install this thing after it's done. Stay tuned. We decided to change the factory AC of this bus for a few reasons. First of all, it was a massive unit. It was 100,000 BTU industrial Thermo King unit that they use on those transit buses. They do that because you have a lot of windows, a lot of people, the doors are opening and closing, and this bus was originally from Austin in Texas. So you can imagine that it gets really hot and it gets cold too. So this unit did both of this work. So for us, that was taking a ton of space in the back. When we were driving this and the AC was on, there was a huge noise coming out of this. But for us, it would require us also to have this bus on, the engine on, to be able to utilize this air conditioning. The original one draws a ton of amps because it pulls energy out of the alternator directly. So and the alternator in this bus is like it's gigantic. I don't even know how many amps it can generate, but it's a lot. It's like, it looks like a mini engine. So we decided to get rid of it, get a lot of the space in there, and move our freshwater tanks all the way to the back. This will help us with a lot of things. We don't have under storage in this bus, so for that reason we would have to raise the floor of this bus a little bit to put the freshwater tanks inside of this unit. We wanted to go with as much fresh water as possible, so our choice here was to go with 200 gallons of fresh water, and that will take almost the whole half of this bus will have to be raised on the floor to feed in this equipment in there. So we decided that there was a lot going on for us into removing that original factory AC. In replacing that, we said, well, we saw a lot of people out there with a great experience using the mini split kind of house units, and we decided to get one of those. So for the dimensions that we could play around with, so we had to go with an LG unit. I think in another episode we're going to talk about that, but it's like a 24,000 BTU unit, so it's kind of big. It's a dual head, so we're going to have a head in the front, a head in the back in the bedroom. But to fit that in there, we had to like remove all the original AC. We had to close. There was a huge vent that went through the roof to kind of exhaust the original AC Thermo King unit. So we closed that. We had to open a little bit more the back door of the bus to be able to fit in this thing in there. And this is the reason why we're going with all this modification. To place the unit there, we didn't want to just leave the unit hanging in there. It would look like very unfinished to our taste. So we decided to go into this project of building a shell that will go there. We had to go with kind of an aluminum shell because it will be out in the weather. There will be some rain in there, maybe snow, a lot of sun, heat. So we decided to not play around with that and just go all out aluminum. So that is the reason why we decided to do this, and that's why we had to make all this modification to the back door of the bus.